On today's primetime local news, what you need to know about the regular flu versus the coronavirus and experts' advice.
Coronavirus typically presents as a respiratory illness.
And have you checked your carbon monoxide alarm? A leak could be fatal. Tips from the fire chief that could keep you safe.
In the last year, we responded to about 30 calls, whether it's carbon monoxide alarms or gas smells in their homes.
And how farmers and ranchers are sharing ideas to help improve their operations through a workshop in Vermilion.
So it's kind of that spirit of community sharing so that we can all get some ideas to go home with.
Plus, a local French immersion school is celebrating Carnaval, a week-long winter festival.
Prime time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Well, with more news coming out every day regarding the coronavirus, more questions are being raised on what the symptoms look like and if there's a chance we can get it here in Lloydminster. Coronavirus does have similar symptoms to the flu, and according to one local pharmacist, the chances of it coming to the border city are rare, as we don't see a lot of travelers coming in from the affected areas in China.
Coronavirus typically presents as a respiratory illness, and fortunately we haven't seen any in Lloydminster as of yet, and are unlikely to see it. To distinguish between coronavirus, influenza, pneumonia kind of thing, taking patient history into account, coronavirus would be fairly low on the list for the majority of people.
The coronavirus may not be a big issue here, but the flu currently is, since we are still in flu season.
Flu season will last into the spring now. If you've already received your vaccine and you're over 9 years old, it wasn't your first time getting it, then you're covered for the season. If you're in the younger category, you may need a booster dose to become fully protected. Essentially, we recommend that everybody who's able get the vaccine.
And for those looking to get the flu shot, it's available at pharmacies around Lloydminster. The Lloydminster Fire Department is encouraging you to test the carbon monoxide alarm in your home. The acting fire chief says you should test your carbon monoxide alarm once a month. 70% of homes are equipped with alarms, but less than half of people test them regularly. It can take less than 30 seconds to test an alarm.
Depending on the type of detector you have, it could be as simple as pressing a button, and usually that's what it is. There'll be a button, again, following manufacturer's directions and instructions on the ones that you buy. And there's a variety of them out there available at the local stores here in town.
Carbon monoxide is a colorless and odorless gas that can be fatal. Carbon monoxide poisoning can cause symptoms similar to the flu or food poisoning.
It's something that people aren't aware of it. We do smoke alarm campaigns. We have smoke detectors in the house. People test those, but again, you can smell smoke and see smoke. Carbon monoxide you can't see. It's odorless. It's poisonous.
When carbon monoxide is detected in a home, the fire department works with ATCO to fix the problem. The fire department has responded to 30 carbon monoxide calls in the past year. Ecole St. Thomas School kicked off their annual Carnaval, a winter festival that is celebrated annually in Quebec for over 60 years. This year also marks 35 years of French immersion in Lloydminster. Our Abby St. John was at the school to see the different activities the students took part in to kick off the week of celebrations in this week's Beyond the Classroom.
Started in Quebec, Carnaval is a winter festival celebration put on to lift people's spirits while having to live in the cold winter.
We love to play. So for us, doing it here, it makes a connection to those French roots and that tradition of the Carnaval there, but it allows our students to use their language in a playful way. You know, it's very formal in the classroom. Of course, we have fun and whatnot, but when you get out there and they get to use their French in that context where they're s'amuse en français, they're going back and forth in French, that's when it becomes alive. That's when the vocabulary really sticks.
Throughout the week, the students participate in different winter games and activities.
Every year we bring in some kind of workshops for the older students, and then the younger students will sign up. They'll go snowshoeing, they'll try the sluice boards, trip all over each other on sluice boards. Those are always fun. And have a French movie, and we have a spectacular big show coming on Friday for K to 4s as well. So it's just a chance for them to play in French and have fun.
Getting French immersion in Lloydminster took a lot of work from parents, alumni, and teachers, and over the 35 years, the hard work has paid off.
When I came in 2002, a lot of families doubted immersion. They didn't know what French immersion would look like for their children. They were worried, how will it impact their English language? How will it impact their math, their science? What will this do to their education if I take this risk? So over time, being able to show them, the data and be able to show them how students excel in a second language, that's where the growth came from over time. Just good work with teachers and committed staff.
Since this year is an anniversary for LCSD, putting a spotlight on the history of French immersion was important.
The first thing that is special to us is that we're able to highlight the history and the people who built this program and made it happen. I'm a graduate of French immersion schools, and it's been a wonderful experience for me, not only in Canada but in working internationally. And I think for all of these children, it's not just about the ability to learn a language up to grade 12, but it's where that can take you in years to come.
For this week's Beyond the Classroom, I'm Abby St. John.
Take Lakeland College for a test run during their 2020 program information sessions in mid-March. Lakeland College, leading learning since 1913.
Hillmond is buzzing in the aftermath of hosting Hockey Day in Saskatchewan, which brought in a record of $207,000. They were able to raise large totals in funding from the banquet and auction, along with generous support from local supporters like Crude Master and the Fred North Foundation. The event, which ran for 4 days, was a huge joint effort for groups in Hillmond.
A great crew that went out and sought sponsorships from local companies, and they were very successful. We were amazed at the support that we had from our community.
All of the funds raised will go towards the replacement of the existing boards at the Redden Arena.
Committee now in place that we are getting quotes and information going forward so that we can put something in place. We're hoping for next season, but we'll see how our quotes come together.
And new boards will not be in place during the current hockey season. The County of Vermilion River is helping farmers and ranchers from across the area share ideas and learn more information by holding workshops around the county. Last night's coffee and conversation held in Vermilion brought roughly 30 people together to share their experiences with regenerative agriculture.
It's just to get people asking questions, so it's not it's sharing ideas and borrowing ideas from other people and kind of building that sense of community, or, not everything will work for everyone. So it's kind of that spirit of community sharing so that we can all get some ideas to go home with.
The county is hoping to create a network in the ag community that is willing to share ideas, which will hopefully improve everyone's operation.
Farmers and ranchers have been pretty independent sorts, and so, but it seems now as more young people are getting involved, we're trying to share knowledge, share resources even, and so when we can come together and collaborate, you hear talk about peer learning groups and those kind of things and the value that they have. So this is a great example of the community, the ag community, providing that opportunity.
The next meeting will be a weed management workshop in Paradise Valley on February 20th. And now a look at your weather for this evening. Here's our Abby St. John.
Thanks, Judy. It's currently -8 here in Lloydminster. A fairly cloudy day. We did experience some snowfall this morning, and we're predicted to have about 30% chance of light periods of snow starting tonight, and into tomorrow about 2 centimeters of snow to fall. Currently, the winds coming in from the east-southeast at 12 kilometers per hour, making it feel like -13 with that wind chill. Across Alberta, -11 up in Cold Lake, -4 in Athabasca, 0 in Edmonton, -2 in Red Deer and Rocky Mountain House, +2 in Edson, -3 in Jasper, and -1 in Whitecourt. On the Saskatchewan side, -9 in Meadow Lake, -16 in Prince Albert, -18 in Melfort, -13 in Saskatoon, and -11 in North Battleford. And overnight in North Battleford. They also have a 30% chance of snow, with the temperature dropping to -14 overnight, and that wind will be at 19 kilometers per hour coming from the east-southeast. And then tomorrow they have a daytime high of -12, and that wind will be at 13 kilometers per hour coming in from the east-southeast. And they have about predicted to get about 2 centimeters of snow starting tonight and into tomorrow. In Cold Lake overnight, they have a 30% chance of periods of snow starting tonight and into tomorrow, about 2 centimeters as well. Temperature dropping to -12 overnight. And then tomorrow they have a daytime high of -6, and that wind will be at 11 kilometers per hour coming in from the south. Here in Lloydminster overnight, we have periods of snow starting this evening, about 2 centimeters falling, and tomorrow morning as well. -8 will be our overnight temperature, and wind coming in from the southeast at 15 kilometers per hour, and then slowing down to 11 kilometers per hour coming in from the south tomorrow, with a daytime high of -7, which will feel closer to -17 with that wind chill, and a low of -8. And then on Friday, it will be a mix of sun and cloud with a high of -4, which will feel closer to -15, and a low of -9. And then to start your weekend off on Saturday, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of -7, which will feel closer to -20, and a low of -13. That is a look at your 3-day forecast. We'll have more news coming up after the break.
Welcome back. A Manitoba clinical trial is testing if starch derived from raw potatoes can slow the damaging effects of chronic kidney disease. University of Manitoba Assistant Professor of Community Health Services Dr. Dylan McKay says prebiotic supplements that improve the gut microbiome, the bacteria in the gut, have healthy improving potential. McKay says resistant starch, which is abundant in uncooked potatoes and unripe bananas, passes through the upper intestine without being digested and is a source of food for the gut microbiome when it reaches the lower intestine. The trial will ask people with the disease to mix a flavorless powder supplement into a drink such as a smoothie each day. A Manitoba company, MS Probiotic, is providing the supplement for the study. And now here are your agriculture prices for today.
We're a part of less than 5% of Canadian auto body shops and Lloydminster's only locations with certified collision care recognition at City Centre Auto Body.
Lakeland's basketball squad are on their last off week of the season, but the women's team is taking advantage by taking their training across the Atlantic. The squad is playing 4 exhibition games in Paris, along with doing some sightseeing. So far, the Rustlers have split 2 of their 4 games, taking on club and minor pro teams.
A ton of work over the last 3 years fundraising this all on their own. So now we'll get 4 games over there with Division II pro teams and some club teams. Style of play that we never see, and we get to go over there and work on some things and have some team bonding and a nice little reward for them.
We're just pumped. We just want to win this 4 games there and then be ready for the playoffs.
Back home, the men are trying to reset after blowing a 25 lead on Saturday to Grand Prairie Wolves.
Keeping our energy up, because today you could tell that we didn't have no energy really.
Just can't stop playing. We're up 25 points with not much time left in the second half, and kind of slowed down a bit.
Lakeland's next home tilt from basketball is February 14th against the Augustana Vikings. The Saskatchewan Rowing Club sent their development coach here in Lloydminster last night to promote the sport to the community. Our reporter Shelby Clark has more.
Brenda Colby came hoping to entice, excite, and recruit potential athletes in Lloydminster.
I've been in rowing or involved in rowing for 35 years, and one of my goals is to let everybody on the planet experience rowing.
For being here only 9 months, Kobe has given presentations, techniques, and tips for the rowers to show the opportunities in the rowing world. She believes the athletes on the Lloydminster Rowing Club have great potential.
What's great about the athletes that showed up, especially the ones that haven't rowed, they already have a great high-performance base. They're used to competing at a higher level in the sports they're in right now, and they have that amazing training base.
The athletes on the team explain that rowing has even helped them in other sports they play, like hockey and swimming.
Rowing has definitely improved my endurance and my leg strength. It's a full body sport, and it just improves me everywhere.
The Lloydminster Row Club was founded in 1978 by a man who rowed in India and moved to Lloydminster. He realized the closest teams were in Edmonton and Calgary, so he wanted to give back to the sport he loves.
Anybody can take up rowing, but it exercises every part of the body. For example, a treadmill is half the exercise in rowing, but you can just do it for the fun of it. You can get out on the water, enjoy nature. Sometimes you can enjoy pelicans at our lake, so it's really good.
Shelby Clark, Primetime Local Sports.
Now a look at your weather forecast for this evening. Here's our Abby St. John.
Thanks, Judy. Taking a look at our satellite radar, lots of snow activity in and around the Edmonton area at Lakeland and making its way more eastern to the rest of the region, St. Paul, Bonnyville, Vegreville, Vermilion, Marwayne. Here in Lloydminster, we could experience some snowfall starting this evening and into tomorrow. About 2 centimeters is predicted. Same up in Cold Lake, periods of snow starting this evening and about 2 centimeters of that. On the Saskatchewan side, they're also experiencing some snowfall down in North Battleford and the Maidstone area, St. Walburg and Meadow Lake experiencing that snowfall overnight. Periods of snow will start in this evening in North Battleford. About 2 centimeters of snowfall is predicted to fall as well. -8 currently here in Lloydminster as well as in St. Walburg. -4 in Macklin, -7 in Maidstone, -11 in North Battleford, -9 in Meadow Lake and Pearson, -10 in Green Lake, and -16 up in Isle of Cross. On the Alberta side, -4 in Provost and Vermilion, -3 in Wainwright, -5 in Vegreville, 0 out in Edmonton, -6 in Marwayne, -9 in Bonnyville, -7 in St. Paul and Lakeland, and -11 in Cold Lake. And tomorrow, -7 here in Lloydminster, -2 in Provost and Wainwright, -4 in Vermilion and St. Paul, 0 in Vegreville, +1 in Edmonton, -1 up in Lakeland, -4 in St. Paul, -5 in Bonnyville, and -6 in Marwayne and Cold Lake. On the Saskatchewan side, -2 in Macklin, -12 in North Battleford, -9 in Meadow Lake and Maidstone, -10 in St. Walburg and Green Lake, -7 in Pearson, and -11 up in Isle of Cross. Overnight across the region, snowfall in Meadow Lake and Isle of Cross, and then fairly cloudy skies in the rest of the region. -14 in Meadow Lake and Unity, -17 in Isle of Cross, -12 in Pearson, -10 in Bonnyville, -13 in Paradise Hill, -6 in Wainwright and Provost, and -4 in Murnum for your overnight temperatures. Your school day forecast for tomorrow at 8 a.m. it'll be -7, fairly cloudy day, and then by the time recess rolls around, it'll be -8 and remain that way for the remainder of the day. And then a low of -8 for tomorrow. On Friday, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of -4 and a low of -9. To start your weekend off on Saturday, it'll be a mix of sun and cloud with a high of -7 and a low of -13. On Sunday, a high of -2 and a low of -12. Back on Monday, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of -4 and a low of -7. And then we get a little bit cooler with the double digits on Tuesday with a high of -11 and a low of -17. And then on Wednesday, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of -17 and a low of -31. That is a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more news in the question of the day coming up after the break.
Welcome back, and now let's find out what's happening with our Justin Marshall.
Hey, it's Justin Marshall, Hot 101.3 and Boom 95.3 radio stations around the Lakeland, and this is what's happening in the area. Bonnyville, Alberta, this Friday night, February 7th, starts at 9 o'clock, $15 for tickets. You can get them right here at the Players Lounge. It's Emerald House, an EDM show put on by our friend Anthony Oak, who joins me now. Anthony, what's this all about?
It's a dance party that everybody has been begging me for. Really, that I've booked headline artist Nada Deva, as well as some local supports as Soft Chirps and Shanye, and myself, Anthony Oak, to be performing this lovely show for you guys. It's some dance music. It's really good. House music, if anybody is aware of it. It's been going around. Even pop music nowadays is based off of house music itself. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be catchy, dancing. Everybody's going to love it. $15 tickets for hard copy tickets can be caught here at Players Lounge, as well as if people need delivered, they can contact me. But
what's your number?
780-603-8273.
Awesome. You can get more details as well. We'll put it all up on facebook.com/hot1013fm. Why have people been asking you to bring this to the Lakeland?
Well, there hasn't been a club in the Lakeland for some time now, and everybody that I talk to just really wants to go to raves but don't want to drive to Edmonton. Something local, and I have people coming down to make it amazing for you guys. So really, like, there's no reason why that people shouldn't be hyped about this. It's a really great show.
Well, thanks for joining me, buddy.
Thank you.
And if you have an event you would like to feature on What's Happening, shoot me an email, jmarshall@stingray.com.
It's that time again for a question of the day. Of course, Johnny Depp's ex-wife, Amber Heard, was exposed for spousal abuse towards Depp. Now fans are petitioning to get her off Aquaman 2. What are your thoughts is the question. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I always hear it like it's always the opposite, but it's poor guy. I mean, like when you have that kind of violence at home, it's like not, you know, a way to live your life. But anyway, a lot of people are saying they want her off because she was the abuser.
Yes, the petition has received over 180,000 signatures online to get her removed from DC's Aquaman 2, as she's been part of the DC universe for quite some time now. So they want her off. Back in 2016, when they were going through their divorce, it came out that she was the victim of abuse from Depp, saying that he hit her a bunch of times and all that. And so he lost a ton of endorsements. He lost his role as Captain Jack Sparrow on Pirates of the Caribbean. He was knocked down because of the claims that she was making. An audio recording of the two of them in an argument after she had hit him, punched him in the face, was released. And you can hear I think it's about an hour long, you can hear him saying, "You punched me in the face. I know what it feels like. Your fist was closed. I know what that feels like. Don't tell me what to feel." And he was like, she kept on saying, you didn't get punched, you were hit. I was hitting you, not punching you. She threw a vodka bottle at his hand, and he had to get it surgically reattached. Whereas back when she was still playing the victim, she said that he cut off his own finger and dipped it in blood and was drawing obscenes on the wall.
That's some crazy
when really
scene
it was
over
her
there.
throwing the bottle at his finger, and he had to get it surgically reattached, and his bones had to be repaired. Through all this, he would have swollen. He had swollen eyes from hitting, and she has a history of abuse towards her partners.
And that's too bad, because she probably was abused. That's how people become abusers, obviously, and that's a sad story, and that's too bad because I like Johnny Depp.
Yes.
And I do like her too, so that's a sad story. But let's switch over to pet projects. Thanks for sending your pet pics to for a chance to win a gift card from the Pet Pad.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
Very pleased to be joined now by Bobcats alum Austin McGrath. He's out at Cornell University joining us via Skype. Thank you very much for taking the time, Austin.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Now, it's obviously 2 hours time difference. How long did it take you to adjust to living out on the coast there?
It was a little bit of a difference, for the first month or so out here, but kind of get used to the schedule fairly quickly, and everything's pretty busy, so you just get up into that, and then you kind of get used to it.
Yeah. Now, for those who don't know, because you did talk a little bit about going to Cornell before you had left Lloydminster when you were back on the Gloves Are Off way back in the day. Tell the people a little bit about your journey to get to the university level.
Right. So for me, when I was younger, probably like 14, 15, 16, I hadn't thought too much about going to college, really. A lot of what I heard about and saw was the Western Hockey League, so that was kind of my main goal at that time. And then I got a little older, and the Western League never quite worked out for me, and I learned a lot more about college and how it was a really good route to take as well. And then just progressing through to juniors and talking to some schools, and then it developed rather quickly that I ended up coming to Cornell. But something I didn't learn a lot about until I was 17 or 18, and I kind of wish I learned about it a little sooner, but everything worked out pretty good for me.
Fair enough. And then, so you had played obviously with the AAA program, brief stint with the Crusaders before you had that full season with the Bobcats. Was that good preparation, playing on a team where you faced a ton of shots every night, or was it pretty different experience when you went to Cornell?
I think it's fairly different atmosphere here for sure, but I think seeing all those shots when I played in Lloyd definitely helped development-wise and growing as a player. We're a pretty strong team here. We definitely don't give up as many or the quality chances that we were giving up when I played in Lloyd, but I think it really helped me get ready to move here as well.
For sure. And you said off camera to me that the first year was definitely the bigger adjustment moving out east, but you basically get used to everything once you've had that year under your belt.
Right, yeah. The first year for me, especially both like school-wise and hockey and just life in general, like being away from my family, because it was my first time really being away from home for an extended period. It was a big adjustment having to do it all at once, but kind of getting through that first year and just getting more comfortable with being out here and what it's like being away from family and everything, and getting used to school. After that first year, it was kind of a lot more comfortable and just felt a lot better.
Yeah. What was the single hardest thing to adjust to?
For me, I guess the first year for me, hockey was a big adjustment, especially going from, being the guy in Lloyd to coming here, and I didn't play a game at all my freshman year. So it's a big adjustment to go from, playing most nights to not playing for a full season. So that was pretty difficult to get through, but made it and just kept on working, and it kind of worked out.
Yeah, and obviously your performance with that Bobcats team probably helped for that recruiting process. What's it like, the college atmosphere, in terms of having fans? Do you get the rowdy atmosphere you see at those Frozen Fours, or is it sort of a mixed bag when it comes to people attending your games?
Right. So, our home games here, we probably have the best fans in our conference for sure. Majority of the nights our rink is close to full, if not full. I think we see just over 4,000, and our student section's pretty big, and they're pretty rowdy. They get a lot of chants going and the band's playing, and it's they kind of get the town people into it as well. Like it's a super fun atmosphere here when we're playing at home. And then even when we go on the road, we get a lot of alumni that travel, or our band travels to a lot of the games. So, even a lot of the other places we play, like it's a lot of almost like a home crowd for us, aside from a couple places that get decent fans as well.
Sounds like a good atmosphere indeed. We'll be back after the break with more from former Bobcats goaltender Austin McGrath.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Back with Austin McGrath, former Bobcats goaltender and currently at Cornell University via Skype. We talked a little bit about your time at Cornell. How different is the hockey culture down south?
It's a lot different for sure. I mean, especially like on campus, you know, a lot of the students here grew up where it wasn't really a big thing at all. A lot of people, you know, when they get here, it's their first time going to games. So once they get into that atmosphere and they realize what it's like, you know, they love it. Like the fans they get really into it and they love it. And I think on our campus here is a really unique example of how it would be down here, just because of the culture that the team has built here being successful and the atmosphere that the fans bring to the rink. Like, it's just a very unique thing that a lot of teams don't get, I don't think. So I'm really lucky that this is the place I ended up.
Yeah, and that's obviously not an experience every athlete gets to have, where you can say, obviously, with the AJHL, for example, they're local teams, the whole community will come out and support you, but that's very similar in a way to some campuses where the college students, obviously, like the whole student body enjoys that experience.
Yeah, for sure. I think, you know, even looking back at some of the games I played in Lloyd where, you know, I thought the crowd was really good and a lot of the community comes out, and it's awesome to have everybody there and the cheering. And then just getting here, it's even like, it's another step, and it's just such a different, because the fans are so interactive with the game. Like, they really tell when the momentum's swinging and things like that. And the student section gets a lot of different chants going. So during the game, it's like full on, you know, they're yelling and screaming and it's like full sentences at times. And like, it's just completely different atmosphere, and really lucky that they're on our side a lot of the time.
I can imagine. What other cultural differences are there kind of off ice, in terms of whether it's just when you interact with fellow students, when you go out and enjoy the community around you, that kind of thing?
Right. Yeah. I think that, you know, there's a lot of diversity across the campus here. It's one of the things that the school prides itself on. So just getting to meet a lot of people from places that, you know, you don't see before, like across, in Europe or Asia or really anywhere, like just meeting a lot of people from different places and kind of hearing what life is like from there and how it's different here for them. And I think another big area that it's a lot different is in the food that we get. Eating at dining halls on campus, like, again, there's a lot of diverse students, so the meals they serve a lot of times are things that I never would have really had unless I came here. And it's a sometimes interesting experience trying those, but I think it's good to be able to see all that different options and the way that, you know, other people live, I guess.
What's your favorite culinary discovery you've had then when it comes to food?
Oof. That's a tough one to put down. There's a lot of different things. No, I don't know if I could put it to one, but some of them, you know, you only try once and that's it. And some of them you give an occasional try here and there a little more, but hard to put it down to just one.
Fair enough. And you had mentioned before that you're in a full course load of 5 classes. How are you doing on exams? Doing pretty good? Keeping with the books?
Doing a little better now. You know, my freshman year was a bit of a struggle at times getting used to that, but last year and this year I've kind of picked it up a little and started doing a little better again.
I'm sure the folks are very happy to hear that you've picked it up, I bet, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
And now, really quickly, as we're kind of getting towards the end, you guys have, I guess, a month and a bit left. So what's the rest of the season look like for you?
Right. Yeah, I think we've got about 4 weekends left of games. So it's crazy. It's almost through again already. It seems like we just started, but we've got a few tough teams coming up, and we're in a good spot right now. I think we're tied for first in our conference. So looking to kind of hold on to that, take full possession. And as for myself, you know, our other goalie, Matt, has had a really good year so far. So just kind of working hard and making sure I'm ready for if anything happens or that opportunity comes, that I'm ready to go.
And if people wanted to tune in and check out the action, can they do that online, or does it have to be sort of through like a Pac-10 sort of TV network?
Right. So I think the way the games are all streamed through ESPN Plus. So there's like a portal you can go through. I think there's instructions to it somewhere. If you looked up like Cornell men's hockey watch online, there would be they give you some directions as to that.
Okay. Cool. So then maybe we'll get a chance to see you online sometime in the next couple of weeks then. Thanks again for taking the time, Austin. Best of luck with exams, obviously, and certainly with the rest of the season as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Taking a look at your 7-day forecast, a high of -7 and a low of -8 for tomorrow. And then on Friday, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of -4. To start your weekend off on Saturday, it'll be a high of -7 and a mix of sun and cloud. On Sunday, a high of -2. Back on Monday, it'll be a mix of sun and cloud with a high of -4. And then we get into the double digits a little bit further on Tuesday with a high of -11 and then a high of -17 on Wednesday to wrap up your 7-day forecast.
Abby, why are you not telling me good news about the weather? This is crazy stuff. It starts getting really cold.
Well, it's not too bad, just those 2 days, and
Yeah.
who knows, maybe it'll change.
Who knows? I hope it
Hopefully.
changes. I don't know if I
Gets
can handle
lower,
that kind
not
of.
higher.
Yeah. Let's go back to Johnny Depp. I know that we were talking about him a little bit. I love the story. You know a lot about the story, obviously, and it's so sad that those two have come to this point, and everybody's trying to get her off of the show that she's on, which was, I think, Aquaman 2. And this is Amber Heard we're talking about, his ex-wife, who is abusing him and he's accusing her of that.
Yeah, well, she wrote an article for the Washington Post detailing the domestic abuse that she went through. And so Johnny Depp filed a civil lawsuit for $50 million against her for defamation.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it all came back out into light, and the audio recording and everything.
Wow, what a fascinating story. I'm so sorry for them. I love Johnny Depp, and I like her too as well too, but that is it. Thanks for sharing that. Thank you so much, and thanks for watching the show. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good evening.